Why do I feel so bad about the fact I had sex even though I made it right with the Lord? Now, what do you think about this question? Even though I made it right with the Lord. You bring a lamb at sacrifice, made it right with the Lord. What does that mean? How do you make it right with the Lord? First question, what does that mean? How do you make it right with the Lord? What does it mean to make it right with the Lord? What does the Lord want to make right? See, the Lord wants to heal your mind. Is your mind now operating in harmony with His design? See, this is the question. I had a patient who had, married, had a one-night, single, one-time affair, felt completely guilt-ridden immediately after the affair. She went home, confessed it to her husband, confessed it to God, asked forgiveness. Husband forgave her, God forgave her. She went down to the altar at church, confessed it, got rebaptized, yet 7 years have gone by, and she continues to have recurrent guilt. She's been down to the altar probably 20 times at church, had special anointings and prayer, and she's still consumed with guilt over this affair. What's going on? Well, when somebody has an affair, if you remember how the mind we looked at, prefrontal cortex, thinking, reasoning, conscience, good judgment, limbic system, all those powerful emotions, does somebody have an affair because their good judgment goes, you know what, this is going to be really healthy for me, my husband's going to be proud of me, and the good judgment makes this decision? Or is it because powerful emotions overrule their judgment? What happens? How does an affair go into? Yeah, it's the brain being turned upside down, basically. It's our powerful emotions overruling good judgment, and this is why people get into affairs. She never had another affair after 7 years, but she actually never changed the way her mind worked either. And so she was having the same phenomenon happening. For instance, at work, somebody says, hey, can I borrow your car? And her judgment says, no, I have limited insurance. You've been in 3 wrecks in the last 3 months. No. But her emotions go, I don't want her to be mad at me. I want her to like me. I don't want to have a conflict at work. And so based on fear and insecurity, she lets the person borrow the car. Now, is that substantially any different than the affair? No. It's feelings overruling judgment, same dynamic, same process. But where in the Bible does it say, thou shalt not let a coworker borrow thy car? There's no roof. She gets this terrible guilt feeling, but there's nothing direct to attach it to. Her mind regurgitated the most egregious episode or evidence of this type process, which is that affair. So every time for the last 7 years that she allowed her feelings to overrule her judgment, she got guilt for the affair. And so once she began using her power of choice to follow her judgment, all the guilt for the affair finally went away. So this goes back to the question. I feel bad about the fact I had sex even though I made it right with the Lord. Has your mind been healed? This is all God wants. You don't have to do something to make it right with Him. He wants to do something to make you right. To balance your mind, heal your heart. So, just told that story. We can't change history. Whatever historical events, can't change them. Imagine that you have somebody's just gashed your leg with a knife. You're wounded. Can you go back and undo it once the wound's there? Can you redo? Once we've made a mistake, can we go back and undo history and redo it? No. So we only have 3 options once we've made a mistake, once we have a wound. Option number 1, heal it as quickly as we can. Antibiotics, sutures, antiseptic. Option number 2, ignore it. Nothing wrong with me, I'll be fine. Option number 3, actively infect it. Rub some manure in it. That's our 3 options once we have a wound. Same thing happens with this kind of stuff. Heal it as quickly as we can, get our mind in balance, do God's design, ignore it, infect it, make it worse. So, this is what God wants to do, is heal our hearts, heal our minds. We can experience, after David murdered Uriah and stole Bathsheba, he couldn't undo that. But he did experience a new heart and a right spirit. He was changed in the inner man. This is what God wants to do to each of us, and that's what needs to happen.